Hello, welcome back to the Digressor. It's been over a month. I think this is my longest gap between episodes. A month, a week, and 3 days. Yeah. Oh, you're probably wondering about that new intro. Yeah, about that. Okay, so, part of the reason it's taken so long for me to do a new episode is, a few weeks ago, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw my external hard drive, which has all of my personal files, was wiped. That included all of my personal files. I think I just said that. It had even the raw audio of all of my episodes, including the intro. Yeah. I had a couple people saying, "Oh, why don't you just take it from one of the episodes?" Unfortunately, um, yeah, the way I do that, the way I had the intro in is I would talk as it was fading. So yeah, I had the option to recreate it, but I don't want to I don't want to. I figured I'd take this opportunity to make a new one from scratch. And so after a couple weeks of trying, I came up with an idea to not do that because I could not come up with anything that was better than the old one. Um, no, I did not make that intro that you just heard. So earlier this year, I found a song called "Come Around" by Moon King, and I just became obsessed with that song. I listened to it so much that I did my Spotify Wrapped yesterday, and it was my top song. And I was like, that does not surprise me at all because I listen to it so much, like at least like 10 times a day, all the time. It was such a good song. And that kind of gave me an idea when I saw that because it's such a good song. I'm like, um, why not just make it my podcast theme? I mean, of course, I didn't just decide that. I messaged I messaged Moon King on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, here's the situation. Can I use your song?" And he was like, "Sure, go ahead. I don't mind." And actually, hang on. This episode will definitely have a lot of edits in it because I'm kind of sick-ish, not like contagiously sick. Just okay. He said, "Hey, Trevor. Well, nice. Yeah, go for it. Happy for you to use the song. Appreciate you asking." Okay, so I woke up in the middle of the night and my lungs were on fire and my throat was burning and I was like coughing so much I could barely breathe. And I was like literally in the kitchen crying from how much it hurt. And finally I managed to go back to sleep. But yeah. Uh it's been kind of a rough day and you're probably thinking, "Hey, why don't you just not do this until you're better?" Okay, in the time since I did a last episode, I actually have a job now. So I can now schedule like when to do these episodes. And like I'm off today. My next day off is next Thursday. So yeah, this is like my one chance to do this because like I have the music now. The thing that was basically holding me back was I didn't have the music. I didn't want to have an episode without the music. I could have just done another minisode, but I didn't want to have two minisodes in a row. And yeah. So now that I have music, I can do the full episode, and I have to do it today. I don't want to wait a week. Anyway, I've been talking lately about, I mean, not lately, because it's been a while. In the last few episodes of Minisodes, I've been talking about there's a trilogy of episodes I plan on doing. And yeah, I think it's time. I've spent a lot of time preparing it. Okay. It's going to sound like really easy. Like, why did it take so long to plan? It was harder than it looked. I was like, oh yeah, that's going to be a filler episode. I can just slap something together. No, no, it took a long time to actually put it together. And this is part one, though it's self-contained. This is actually, let me find. Oh no, it's on Spotify, but I can't find. I should actually organize. I've been preparing, just not accurately. My favorite albums. Yeah, that's basically what this is. My favorite albums. It's part one of three, but this one is the albums. I'm not going to say what the other two are. I'll get to those when I get to them. Okay, so to make this, I basically, because Spotify lets you make profile folders, and I have profile folders I have 3 profile folders. I mean, have I been saying profile this whole time? Playlist. I've been playlist folders. I have 3 playlist folders for these 3 episodes with the things in it that I'm going to talk about. And this one, I actually had too many albums. I have 14 currently. But I narrowed it down. I had way too many. Apparently, I had 25. And I narrowed it down to 14. You can also make playlist folders within the folders. So within this folder, I created favorite albums, honorable mentions, because, yeah. Basically, the albums I left in are the albums I actually have something to talk about. And the ones I put in honorable mentions are the ones I don't have a lot to say. I just really like listening to them. Or I have good, fond memories of them. Also, I must preface this, like 7 minutes in, that I'm not, like a musical genius or anything. So, like, I'm pretty sure, here I'm going to be talking about my favorite music albums and all that, and you're probably thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about like musical themes and stuff. I have no idea about all that. I mean, I have like a little bit of knowledge, but not enough to like talk about it in an official sense. Maybe like I don't know, like if I'm talking with friends, like, hey, I like this song, it crescendos or something. I don't know. Anyway, okay, I think like the only thing like that I've ever said that made sense was in Comfortably Numb. I like the progression. And I was like, I hope that was the right word. And then the people I was talking to were like, oh, you're right, it does have a good progression. I was like, oh, thank God. Anyway, these are in no particular order because, yeah, this isn't like my top albums of all time. It's just my favorite albums because I could not rank these. Some of them I do like more than others, but none of these are like my least favorite albums. I love them all. Um, I will start off with the most recent. I actually just added this album this morning because I was going through it and I was like, oh, how did I not put this album? Oh, because I haven't looked at this in a couple of weeks. Um, so this is going to sound cliche and it's going to sound like I just listen to things that are popular. I don't listen to something just because it's popular. You know, there's a lot of things that people say, oh, this is popular, everyone likes it, you need to listen to it, and I don't listen to it. In fact, the only BTS song I've ever heard was the one with Coldplay because it's Coldplay. I was like, oh, Coldplay. Oh, BTS is in this. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. BTS was on Saturday Night Live and I heard that, but um, that doesn't really count. That was live. Anyway, this isn't BTS. The reason I say all of that I don't like something just because it's popular, is when I tell people I've been listening to this, they're like, "Oh, you're just following the hype train." No, I legitimately love Taylor Swift. Yes, the first album I'm going to talk about is Red, Taylor's version. Okay, you know how I said I was going to do a mini-sode just so I didn't have to put intro music? Yeah, it was going to be about Taylor Swift. I was going to do an episode about Taylor Swift. That's how much I love Taylor Swift. I keep saying Taylor Swift. Anyway, so I just when I realized I was going to put when I decided I was going to put the album on this list, I decided that obviously I'm not going to talk about everything I was going to say because that would have been like half hour of talking, but basically some of the highlights of it was like some people are confused. I don't know how. The people are confused why she's re-recording. They're like, oh, she's just trying to make money. I'm like, yeah, that is part of it. But she wants to own her music. Somebody who, you know what, I'm not even gonna say his name. I don't like him. He bought the masters of her albums, and she doesn't own it. She was like, hey, give me the chance to buy my own masters because I want to own my own music. And they were like, yeah, let's not. And so she's like, what if I just re-record my albums? And they were like, yeah, you'd own that because that's, it's a different record label, but you would own that, but you don't own these. So she's like, that's what I'm going to do. And, to be honest, I didn't think I thought she was just talking. I mean, looking back, I mean, I'm not surprised that she started re-recording because I don't know, it sounds like something she would do. I mean, obviously she did it. She's doing it. But like when I first heard that, it honestly sounded like an Onion album. I mean, an Onion article. And then when she released Fearless earlier this year, I was like, oh, she's doing it. Nice. And it even sounded better. I mean, I like the originals. After she started releasing the Taylor's versions, I actually stopped listening to the old stuff. I realized, oh, this is more serious than I thought. It's serious enough that she's going to go back and re-record her old stuff. So if I'm listening to the old stuff, I'm profiting the people that did her wrong. So I'm not going to listen to those anymore. I don't listen to Fearless and Red or any of those. Even her debut album. Which I wonder if she's gonna re-record that because she was like 14 and 15 when she did that, and I noticed that the first Taylor's version she did was her second album, Fearless, and then of course she skipped a few and did Red, so she's probably not doing it in order. I'm wondering if her debut album was called Taylor Swift. I'm wondering if she's gonna do that album last. I don't know. I think the only song that became a hit off of that one was the "You're the Reason for the Teardrops on My Guitar." It's the only one I remember off that one. Again, I haven't listened to it because the people. I don't listen to that. Um, so now the only music of Taylor Swift I'll listen the only music of Taylor Swift I'll listen to is the one that she owns, which is I think the two albums last year, Evermore and Lover. And my screen just turned off. Actually, now I think about it, I'm pretty sure she owned, like from those on. They said her first 6 albums. I don't know. Hang on. You think I would know this? I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. Let me see. Okay, she said the first 6 albums. No, I am trying to do the. I did say this was going to have multiple edits, and so far, oh wow. Okay, I love this. Apparently, her actual fans feel the same way I do about not listening to the old stuff. I'm on her Spotify page. Her top 5 most popular are all Taylor's versions. And oh, All Too Well 2-minute version. I've listened to that so many times. All right, let's see. She said first 6 albums, and there's Taylor Swift, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, Reputation, Lover, Folklore, Evermore. I forgot about Folklore. How did I forget about that one? Oh yeah, she did 2 albums in 1 year, and so they kind of ran into each other. You choose one to listen to. I chose one, not the other. I know after I record this, I'm gonna go. Oh, I hit something. I'm gonna go listen to Folklore. I know I listened to it because new Taylor Swift album, yay! But I know I listened to the whole thing. It just let me see. Uh, I don't remember any of these titles. Okay, it's nice that we have 2 Taylor Swift albums in 1 year, but this happens. Like, sorry, Taylor. Um, there was more I was going to say. If I had done, I'll probably do the mini-sode about Taylor Swift at some point because there is a bunch of stuff I want to say. All right, moving on to these. That was the first album that I talked about. That's why I talked about it first because I knew there would be a lot. Second one, ABBA Gold. This song, wow, this album was. I actually came across the cassette tape when I was a kid. I didn't know what it was. And first song I heard from ABBA was Dancing Queen, which was the first track. And yeah, I've been hooked ever since. What's funny is I don't like when people they don't like something because it's too popular. If something's really popular, someone they hate it because it's popular. I don't like when people do that, but I do it here because Dancing Queen is like the most overplayed song of all time. And I literally skip it when it comes on. I love ABBA so much. And I listen to like every song on the album all the time. I love this album. But I skip Dancing Queen because it's so overplayed. Yeah, and so a surprising number of people don't know about this. ABBA is back. They have a new album. Their first album in 40 years is called ABBA Voyage. They actually like their new song. Their first single in 40 years is called "I Still Have Faith in You." It it was really good. I was actually on my Wrapped as well. It was really good. I Okay, about their new album. No, they put out 3 singles. I Still Have Faith in You. Um, Wait, I hear something. Oh, oh, something was playing on my phone. I didn't even realize the volume was down. Oh, Ohio Mysteries podcast. That was playing. All right, let's see. Nope, not Taylor Swift. ABBA. Let's see. I forgot the names of their new songs. No, it just opened up ABBA Gold again. Artist. Okay, so the 3 singles they put out was "I Still Have Faith in You," "Don't Shut Me Down," and "Just an Ocean." And I really liked those songs. Those are really good songs. And then the album came out, and I'm like, if those things were good, just imagine the rest of the album. And it's a good album, but unfortunately, they released the best songs as singles. Because I listened to the rest, and because there's 10 songs, and that it was. I don't really remember. There was one song that was not released as a single, That was good. Wait, let's see. I don't remember. It has like a Irish sound to it, and that one was my favorite non-single song. The rest are kind of forgettable. But considering it's their first album in 40 years, they're in their 70s, so like, yeah, I mean, it's good for what it was. Like, yeah. But again, like, I have my own opinions when it comes to popular things. So I'm a huge ABBA fan, but I'm not one of those fans who are like, oh, every single thing they touch is gold. Oh wait, yeah, there's an album called ABBA Gold. But like, I'm not saying like just because it's ABBA, it's the best album of the year. That would be Red, Taylor's version. But yeah, like I'm honest with my opinions on certain things. So, um, the third album I have listed is another classic album, Rumors, Fleet, Fleetwood Mac. This one probably should have gone into honorable mentions. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Um, but the thing that drew me to it the most, at first, was I knew that there's a story behind the album. Like they were fighting, like they couldn't get along, and like they were all fighting and all that. And instead of actually like, oh, what did I do? Oh, I accidentally pressed play on Dreams. Instead of like going at each other and breaking up and everything, they released their uh, frustrations into music, and they made one of the best albums of all time. Most of the songs on here, I don't know if they were singles, but I also don't know if they were hits. But you probably heard most of them. The Chain is on here. Secondhand News, Dreams, Never Going Back Again, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way. Yeah, like all of those are on here. Oh wait, I have the Super Deluxe one on here. Super Deluxe edition. Okay, so they might not be on the original. Let me see. It's like I spoke too soon. All right, View album. Oh, okay, yeah, no, they're on here. Okay. The next album, going a completely different direction musically. Toxicity, System of a Down. This album, I was in high school when this came out. My friends and I loved System of a Down, and they released a few albums, but this one was always my favorite. And the other albums aren't as memorable. Actually, I think they were supposed to, like, they got back together, and oh, they do have a new song out, Protect the Land, which yep, sounds like System of a Down. Okay, they had System of a Down 98, Toxicity 2001, Still This Album 2002, which honestly, when I first saw it, I thought my friend had actually burned the album and then like did that, and I like took it from him, and he laughed. He goes, "No, that's what it's called." And I'm like, "Huh." I didn't know it was the new System of a Down album. Mesmerize 2005 and Hypnotize 2005. Wait. Let's see. They okay, I know they got back together. They did talk about that, like, 'cause they were like a couple years ago. They're like, we are working on new music, but like we're fighting, so it might be a while. And they have a new single that I'm looking at, and yeah. But anyway, as for Toxicity, again, some of their most well-known songs are on here, like Chop Suey, Prison Song, Psycho, yeah, Toxicity itself, Aerials. What? You mean Toxicity is on the album Toxicity? Yeah, but yeah, some of the best songs are on this album. And speaking of that time period, Elephant, Seven Nation Army. Crap. Elephant. White Stripes. See, that song is so popular, I accidentally called the band that. Yeah, no, I won't do that. But yeah, every song on this album is amazing. What's kind of funny about this album is, um, back in the days before I had internet, back in like 2011, it was like 2007 to 2011, I didn't have internet. I had like 14,000 songs on my computer that I'd check out CDs from the library and I'd rip them onto my computer and then return the CDs. And because I didn't have internet, it wouldn't automatically, label all the songs. And so I'd have to go through and manually do it. And some albums don't have the track listing. Some of them do. I don't know if Elephant did. It wasn't in, for some reason, Elephant wasn't in like the normal red case. It was in like a library temporary case. It was like white. It just said Elephant in the white stripes. And I was like, oh, there's no track listing. So I didn't know the names of all the songs. So yeah, I basically just listened to each song and just titled it what I thought it was. So I was wrong on pretty much all of them. And so I see these names here and I'm like, that's not what it. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is the actual names of the songs. I think my favorite was The Squirrel Song. I literally thought it was called The Squirrel Song. It's called Little Acorns. But this album was, I think they only did two albums. It's kind of a shame that they didn't stay together too long. Let's see. Discography, they have, oh, White Stripes, Distills, I can't pronounce that. White Blood Cells, Elephant, Get Behind Me, Satan, Icky Thump, Under the Great White Northern Lights. Okay, so they had more than one album, more than two or three. They had like six. How did I not know about these? What album is Conquest on? Because that's one of oh wait, Under the Great White Northern Lights is live, so that doesn't count. Icky Thump. Let's see, is Conquest on here? Conquest is on their last actual album. And then White Blood Cells was re-released in 2021. um. All right, I feel bad for not knowing. Oh, look, they have an official Glitch Mob remix of Seven Nation Army on their profile. Bastille Day. That's not Pompeii. Anyway, this next album, it's okay. So it's special to me for what it represented and like the time period that I had it. It's We Started Nothing by the Ting Tings, which I think the only song people remember from that is That's Not My Name. But I actually knew about them way before that song became like this huge meme. Because in like 2007 or 8. Wait, when did this album came out? 2008. All right. Like I listened to their like they were on VH1, the Shut Up and Let Me Go video. And the reason I say that what it represented was like it was around the time I first got my own place. So like yeah, it was like my first time being independent, and this was the first album I ever bought with my own money. Because before, like albums were like my friends would burn me albums, or I'd check them out from the library, or like something like that. People would give them to me, but this is the first CD I actually bought with my own money. So yeah. And again, I like every song on this album, even though it kind of the Ting Tings kind of annoy people, which is annoying to me because like I would listen to them, they're like, "Oh, come on, turn this crap off," And I'm like, why? It's really good. And then I thought they only had the one album. And whenever I went to add this list to the when went to go add this album to the playlist, I realized, let's see, Shut Up and Let Me Go was their first album. Where did it go? Where did the list? 2008. No, not Shut Up, Let Me Go. We Started Nothing was their first album, and they've got. Wait, that is a. There was Shut Up and Let Me Go album, but that's different versions of the song. All right. Sounds in Nowheresville, Supercritical, The Blacklight. Yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 albums. And the most recent is 2019, so they're still around. And I listened to some of their new stuff, and they sound different, but still good. I really like them. Let's see. Switching things up again, we've got we've got a cough. All right, switching things up again, we've got A Day Without Rain. Enya. All right. So probably didn't expect to see this on here or anything from this genre. Let's see. Yeah, it's the only one like this on this album, on this playlist, on this list of the. I can't spoke. Okay, leave me alone. Why do I keep accidentally hitting the button to play songs? All right, so everyone knows "Only Time" by Enya. It's kind of. It also kind of became a meme. It's the. I'm not gonna sing. I can't sing under normal situations, and now I've got like the lung thing and throat thing. I just hit the mic, but I hit my mic with my phone. Uh, but yeah, I hate that it became a meme because like when really good songs become memes, you can't listen to it without people thinking, "Oh, haha, that's funny, huh?" But it's like My Heart Will Go On. That's actually a really good song, but it's been made fun of to death, so you can't take it seriously. Another really good song that you can't take seriously anymore is Never Gonna Give You Up. If you actually listen to both of those songs, it's really good. But you also can't listen to them without thinking of the memes. So, ruined. Also, the Sarah McLachlan songs, In the Arms of the Angel and I Will Remember You. Those are really good songs, but they've been ruined by memes. Well, in McLachlan's case, it was ruined by dog commercials, but still, that got turned into memes. Only Time got turned into a meme, which is sad because it's a really good song. All of these are really good songs. In fact, this album, I don't know if this is something you should say when you're trying to promote an album. It helped me sleep for the longest time. I had insomnia, and for a long time, I would just when I need to go to sleep, I would just turn on this album, and I'd be out in like half an hour. Oh, wait, how long is this album? Uh, 37 minutes. Oh yeah, so I listened to almost the whole thing. Maybe I don't know. I'm assuming half an hour. It varies, but eventually I became immune to it, and it didn't work. But yeah, I still listen to it from time to time. It's one of my favorite albums. I like it. Okay, so this next one, I was kind of debating whether or not to include it because I don't know. I was like messaging a friend about it and I was like, should I even include this one? And they were like, yeah, go ahead. So I did it. Pink Floyd, The Wall. Okay, so I have a history with this. It goes back further than I can remember. My dad was a huge fan of this album and he would play it all the time. And I know I mentioned it on the podcast before, but I had kind of a traumatic childhood. And so like you would think I would hate that growing up, now that I know I'm adult, the Pink Floyd The Wall would remind me of stuff, and it used to, but I guess the whole exposure therapy thing, I I've listened to it so much that it doesn't really remind me of that. I have like new memories with it. It's actually a really good album. It's like one of the best like rock operas there are. And in fact, I almost included Welcome to the Black Parade because yeah, it's I decided not to include Welcome to the Black Parade because I already have this one and like they're so similar. I mean, they're not like copies of each other. I mean, Black Parade isn't a copy of that. It clearly takes inspiration from Pink Floyd The Wall, but it's not. It's its own thing. Obviously, it tells a completely different story. But like, I didn't want to have both on here. If that makes sense. And yeah, there are other rock operas, not all of them very good. I think like the best modern one is Welcome to the Black Parade, which I guess that's an honorable mention because I just mentioned it. Uh, because I was going to include it and I didn't put it in honorable mentions. And yeah. Anyway, moving on to American Idiot, Green Day. This one, uh, there was a period in my life when in 2007, early 2007 specifically, that I was actually I was seeing someone, and them and their whole group of friends basically worshipped this album, and actually her ringtone actually was "Welcome to the Black Parade," the song itself. So that kind of ties back into the last one. But yeah, they basically they listen to this album like all the time, and before like when I think Green Day, like I would think like international super hits like that. That was like the only Green Day album I'd ever heard. I was like, oh yeah, that's another turning point, and and but then like I heard American Idiot, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. It was like a new era of Green Day where they like became political. Little did I know they've always been political, but whatever. But like I considered the Green Day to be like the start of a new era for Green Day that ended. That era only lasted a couple albums. I didn't even know they'd been making albums. Because I know they did this and they did like 21st Century something. Let me go look at their things. I like Green Day, but I don't really follow them that well. Okay, 21st Century Breakdown, and then Uno. Oh, I was gonna say I know after those they did 21st Century Breakdown, but I didn't know anything until Uno, and they did Dos and Tres, and Dre. Bleh. I actually bought Uno for a friend for her birthday, and she doesn't remember because recently it was her birthday again. And I was like, I haven't bought you anything since I bought you Uno, and she was like, the card game? I was like, no, the Green Day album. She was like, I was like, you don't remember that? She was like, no. Well, thank you. All right, and then there's Demolicious, Revolution Radio, Father of All, No Fun Mondays, Insomnia. Oh, that's an anniversary. So actually, they have several albums since then. Oh wait, they pulled a Taylor Swift and released 2 albums last year. Father of All and No Fun Mondays were 2012 albums. Unless one's like a live album or something. A live album in 2020. Wait, No Fun Mondays. I think We're Alone Now. Manic Monday. Oh wait, is this covers? Kids in America. I think this is an album of covers. I'm gonna listen to. Wait, it, why is it? Is okay. Now I'm confused. Billy Joe Armstrong is the lead singer of Green Day, but these songs are credited Billy Joe Armstrong, Green Day. like separately. There's a comma. It says Billy Joel at the top. It says No Fun Mondays. Billy Joel Armstrong +1, meaning like one other featuring Green Day. Is he not part of the band anymore? Like I said, I'm not really that. I don't really follow Green Day. I don't really know what's going on with them. But you know who I am following, kind of ish. Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park. That okay, Linkin Park. I don't know if I can talk about this too long. They that I could actually tell, like even back in high school when I was listening to Hybrid Theory and Meteora, that like this guy's depressed. They're like, oh no, it's rock songs, yeah, it's fun, yeah, and I'm like, no, listen to what he's saying. It's not, nah, yeah, and then like Minutes to Midnight and all. Like I liked Minutes to Midnight, but I actually kind of moved on after that. I didn't know about A Thousand Suns until like okay. There's also Living Things. Is that a live album? No. Recharge, which I'm guessing is a remix album. Hunting Party, One More Light, which was their last one, and yeah, like I heard Heavy, and you can kind of hear it in his voice, or at least I could. And I was like, I I was like, okay, someone could probably check on him. They're like, oh no, he's a professional. He's just really good. So yeah, when we got the news, there's not a lot of celebrity deaths I cry over, but that one hit me hard. Let's see. Viva La Vida or Death and All His Friends. Coldplay. Ah, yes. I've been a fan of Coldplay the entire time. Their first single, Yellow, everyone hated it in my school. Like it was on like one of the Now CDs, and I listened to it and I loved it, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's such garbage music. I hate it. It's stupid." And I loved it. And yeah. Every time like a new Coldplay album came out, I loved it. I would listen to all the songs like "Fix You" and all that, and everyone's like, "He sings so high pitched. It's so stupid. All his songs are depressing." And then Viva La Vida came out, and suddenly they're the popular. It's popular to love Coldplay. And people were messaging me like, "Oh, did you hear about this new band called Coldplay? Listen to the song Viva La Vida." It's like that they're not new. They've been around. Why is it when I loved them, they were stupid? I mean, I still love them, don't get me wrong. I've never not liked Coldplay. Like, yeah. In fact, I was actually confused. They have that new album come out, Music of the Spheres. But after A Head Full of Dreams, Chris Martin says that was going to be their last album. Because he says it was their seventh album. There's Parachute, Rush of Blood to the Head, X and Y, Viva La Vida, Milo Xyloto, I've never been able to pronounce that, Ghost Stories, Head Full of Dreams. He said that's going to be their last album because they wanted to be like Harry Potter that had 7 and ended. And he said, well, we have 7 albums and now we're over. That's it. And then all of a sudden, they dropped a new album and I was confused. Oh, wait. Oh. Oh, wow. I'm on their thing now. How did I. They released an album before that. There's Everyday Life in 2019, and then Music of the Spheres they just released. So now they have 9 albums. They're like a surprise Coldplay album that I didn't even know about. So I have another album to listen to later. Wait, Sunrise? I think I know that one. Everyday Life? I don't know. I'm a huge Coldplay fan, but apparently not as big as I thought I was. And going back to the old school days, we got Hysteria Def Leppard. Okay, so technically, Def Leppard isn't classic rock, but they're always being classified as classic rock, so I always say, oh yeah, it's one of my favorite classic rock groups, even though they're not classic rock. Or I don't know. I think like as time moves forward, the classification for classic rock changes because someone said Nirvana was classic rock, and I said they are not classic rock. Actually, hang on. Hey Google, what constitutes classic rock?
According to Masterclass, the classic rock genre encompasses rock music made over 3 decades, from 60s psychedelia and 70s album-oriented rock to 1980s college rock, heavy metal, and 1990s grunge.
90s rock is now moving on. Oh, I lost the album. The playlist. Let's see. Going back down. Okay. Mr. Tambourine Man, The Byrds. This album got me through a lot. Probably also might not be able to talk about this one too long. So in 2011, no, wow, late 2010, I lost a friend to suicide, and I was kind of uh devastated, as you can say, as you can imagine. And I don't know why this album, like I found it in the library, and it's just another album that I ripped. It was no big deal, and yeah, like I started listening to it, and I just listened to it over and over and over and over again, and it helped me through. I don't even know how, but when I listen to it, it reminds me of that. So I don't listen to it very much, but I still love the album. It's one of my favorites. I recommend it to everybody. And this last one I'm talking about is technically two albums because it's called Wow 2000. It's kind of like the Christian version of Now. It's like an annual Christian compilation. Uh, let's see, because they have every year, I like what they do. Instead of disc one, disc two, they color them, and I think like I don't remember like it was like purple and silver, but I don't remember which one's which. Well, 2000. Yeah, let's see. Purple disc is disc one, and silver disc is the second disc, but it's still one compilation, so I count it as one album. And my family and I used to go to San Antonio, Austin all the time because my grandmother lives in New Braunfels, which is like, about maybe half an hour east of San Antonio. And so we would spend holidays in that area. And when we were there, we would always listen to this album. So this album reminds me of San Antonio. If you remember my story, kind of, I grew up in Texas, and I moved to Ohio because I hated Texas, and moved to San Francisco because I got tired of Ohio. And I don't like Texas, but I love the San Antonio, Austin area. I wouldn't live there because it's still Texas, but I love visiting there. And the Wow album like really remembers me. It's not sentient, so there is no memory there. But what's crazy is that some of these bands that are on this album, because this came out in '99, and some of these groups are still together. Like Newsboys, DC Talk. I think DC Talk's still around. Third Day, Katie and Cole, Audio Adrenaline. I think Audio Adrenaline broke up. Let's see. Plum, I'm pretty sure they broke up too. Switchfoot has a new album. Amy Grant, I don't actually, on second thought, I don't know if all of them are still together or out and about. Anyway, that was the last of the 14 albums. Now to the honorable mentions. I don't have a lot to say about all of these. I still wanted to include them because I do like these albums, and while I don't listen to them all the time, um, I listen to them enough. Like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back and listen to this. So I'm gonna. I probably won't say a lot about each of these. I might just go down the list. I don't know. That's what it's like to improvise. I don't have a script. First one is "Say It Like You Mean It" by The Starting Line. Ocean Avenue, Yellow Card. Armed and Dangerous, Volume 1, Signal 99. There's only a Volume 1, there's not a Volume 2. The Young and the Hopeless, Young and the Restless. Do that every time. Young and the Hopeless, Good Charlotte. Letters to the President, Hawk Nelson. Give Up, The Postal Service. 20,000 kilometers per hour in the wrong lane. Tattoo. Fallen, Evanescence. Tub Thumper, Chumbawamba. Solitude Standing, Suzanne Vega. And Is This It? The Strokes. So I could have put a lot more. Like, trust me, I took a lot out. I listen to music all the time. I live on Spotify. Like, like seriously, I'm on Spotify so much. I listen to so much music. I could have put so much more on here. But those were just like, that was after I narrowed it down. And I didn't want it, the honorable mentions. Those were ones I still wanted to include them, but I didn't want to get rid of them. So honorable mentions. Uh, yeah, I don't know when I'll do. I don't know if this will be like MCU, where I do phase 1 and then phase 2 I did like 6 months later. I plan on just doing these one after the other. My next day off will be next Thursday. So I might do the next episode then. Now that I have a job and a logo, I mean not logo, introduction to music, I will likely start doing this regularly again. I know it's kind of funny. Like I had a couple of people asking me how that even makes sense. The reason I wasn't posting so regularly is because I don't have a job. I didn't really have a set schedule, so it was really hard to like do things. And now I have a schedule, so now I can like, oh, Thursday's my one day I can do this, so I'm gonna record on Thursday. And like, this is my day off, so I'm recording now. Now that I have the music. Actually, it's the music that if I hadn't asked him and he hadn't said yes, then I probably wouldn't be doing this. I'd be watching like Clone Wars or something. I don't know. But I'll probably do part 2 next week, and I will I will discuss that when the time comes because I still don't know. Like last minute, I might be like, oh, I'm gonna do a mini-sode on Airbender, or I don't know. I kind of want to do an episode because I just watched all 3 seasons of The Last Airbender, and I want to talk about it, but like I don't have enough to say to make a full episode. Maybe a mini-sode. Uh, I might do like the Rocky one I did, just kind of like my thoughts on it because I just watched all of them. Yeah. But we'll get there when we get there. Anyway, I also for the outro music, it's not just the same music. Because like with the old music I had, I would just play the same intro music with the outro. But I took the intro for this is the beginning of the song, and I basically took the end of the song and made that the outro. So yeah, have a good.